Welcome to WowBiz Weekly, Omaha's only local business news magazine podcast, not broadcast. You're watching WowBizTV.com. It's an incredible new video breakthrough, and we're focused on Omaha, Nebraska, in contrast to a lot of websites, of course, on the internet. This is focused on Omaha and the incredible dynamics in the business community here in Omaha. Everything is happening here. This is the vortex, not only for information, but for action and relationship buildings. This is actually turning into one of the better business networking events around the city of Omaha, Nebraska. I've got an incredible show this week, and we have another taping coming up soon, so stick with this show. Obviously, it is a video player on your website, so you can move the little bar at the bottom and move around a little bit and see the various guests right here on WowBiz Weekly. Talk about it, by the way, if you have the opportunity. You can even forward this particular video to any friend or colleague or whatever and say, hey, check out this video. It's very easy to do. Thank you for joining me. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker, and my first guest today is a fabulous guy. He's a longtime colleague, and he is a creative person, ladies and gentlemen. I met him years ago when he worked for Design Basics here in Omaha, and he was the editor of a magazine. He's evolved. He's an incredible illustrator, and I know you may not have talked to or met a lot of illustrators lately. He has an incredible skill. He works with publishers in New York City. He does children's books, has an incredible appreciation for whimsy and spontaneity and detail. He's an entrepreneur, and that's what we're about right here at the Mastercraft Building in Omaha, Nebraska. Please welcome my friend Bruce Arant, everybody, right here. Bruce Arant. Hey! Did you know that I could just make that up on the spot?
That was good.
Was that incredible?
I wish it were true.
No, you are a special talent, multifaceted. You're a Renaissance man because you've done a lot of things. But let's face it, sometimes you have to learn how to do different things, don't you? I mean,
you do.
Huh? You just have to pick up skills.
You have to just force yourself, because if there's nobody else who's going to teach you, you've got to teach yourself.
Bruce, tell me, you started your solo practice on your own. It's a courageous act. How long ago was that?
It was about 3.5 years ago, actually, the March of '09.
March of '09.
Yeah, I had been the editorial director for a publishing company in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
And with the housing economy and all of that going downhill, I lost that job, and I'd always wanted to do the fun stuff,
yes,
the drawing, the fun pictures and things, and rather than just editing. And I thought, well, I never had the guts to leave my secure corporate job, but when it left me, I thought, well, I might as well give it a shot.
You had the guts. Yeah. Congratulations to you. And you've like all sole practitioners, you've had ups and downs. You've gone through a lot of interesting experiences. Share with these folks. We have a lot of Creighton business students in the room, in this live audience, this unique experiment in podcasting. Share with them, and of course the people who are turning on this video player, what are some of the lessons, some of the things that you would have never thought, right, that have absorbed your psyche?
I think one of the things that I've learned, if anything, is that you have to, and this sounds so trite, but you have to just learn how to discipline yourself to stick with something and be patient, because nothing in the business world that I've found moves as fast as it should.
Yes.
To my standards, at least.
Yeah.
And working with publishers, submitting manuscripts or artwork, and or working with clients that are doing the same. I do a lot of illustrating for other people who write.
Yes, and let's inject Arant Creative Group.
Arant Creative Group.
That's the name of your operation.
ArantCreative.com. Working with people like that, and working with these large organizations that move at a snail's pace, you just have to learn to just, chill out and just let things unfold. You have to be persistent and not give up hope.
Right. I have to tell you, later on we're going to talk about a book called Mastery, and it talks about historical figures, Henry Ford being one of them. And nobody knows, I did not know until I read this book, that Henry Ford actually failed 3 times. And his message was, you just have to, it was not a big deal for him. Didn't bother him at all. Yeah. And his attitude was, you have to keep tinkering with the business model.
You do.
Right? Just kind of stick with it and keep innovating and reapplying it, new business tactics, new relationships, and so on, and eventually it unfolds. Right? Would you say that principle is true?
That's exactly true. One thing that I had to learn, had to teach myself, basically, or actually take some classes for computer graphics, computer drawing.
Yeah, and the illustrations, digital world too.
Because I'm primarily, I'm mostly, just by hand, the old school, pens, paint, ink, whatever. And
there's something charming about that, but go on.
There is, and a lot of illustrators do use that technique still. But there's so much digital out there, like you say, and I thought, man, I'm getting way behind the curve on this. So last year I went to school and learned some of that, and I'm not up to the speed that I should be on that. compared to where I'm at with my traditional media. But, you know, I felt
Right.
like I had to at least step up and try to teach myself some of the new stuff.
Absolutely. And by the way, I just have to interject. I wish this whole conversation would take on greater substance if we could show just a few of your illustrations, which are magnificent, immaculate, detailed, and hilarious, by the way. And one other thing I just have to say, you also have a skill for poetry. You're quite skilled in drawing and then making up poems, literally about the imagery and the story.
Yeah,
and so
in fact, I've got a manuscript that's being pitched right now. It's being sent out to about 19 different publishers. That is a story, but it's all done in rhyme and everything. And I really enjoy writing in rhyme because you can get a lot more whimsy, a lot more just silly craziness out of rhyming. I think Dr. Seuss will make it really.
Absolutely. Well, I have such respect for you and your persistence in this way, and the ability here in Omaha to be doing business with all these people in New York. By the way, I mean, we're not exactly the publishing capital of the world.
No, I have an agent in Princeton, New Jersey, who represents me, and she's only about an hour out of New York.
All right, so there's a lesson too. In other words, have an alliance, have a champion, an advocate.
Right. You have to have some type of a conduit to those markets.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing us. I can't wait to hear the next chapter of your evolving career. Just keep reinventing yourself, baby.
Thanks a lot.
Bruce Arant from Arant Creative, ladies and gentlemen. Great guy. We'll be right back here on Wild Biz Weekly. Thanks for sticking with us. Don't go away.